So then the question is, where does Seattle as a club, where does their legacy fall, right? As a dynasty, as a, are they a when you think about MLS teams, right? You think about the Galaxy, you think about Inter Miami, you think about, I mean, maybe Columbus early days, Houston early days, DC United, right? These big. Where does Seattle rank among these big name teams?
It's weird because they're pretty different from a lot of the other teams. I don't quite think Seattle hits the high of highs that like the prime LA Galaxy dynasty hits, or maybe the early days DC United hits. But their level of consistently being good and also winning, not just like I'm absolutely taking this layup here. Not just like the Red Bull model where you're just consistently making the playoffs and winning nothing. You're consistently being good and winning trophies, but maybe not as like I don't want to use the word dynamite, but like dominant
I know
as
Mike.
maybe not as dominant as like the peak of the Galaxy dynasty would be, or I can't even really say the peak of the Miami dynasty because I don't necessarily feel like, and I think this is a point later on that we're going to talk about, but I don't necessarily feel like there's been a peak where you're like, wow, this Miami team was like as dominant as, I mean, they set the points record, so I guess there's got to be some point, like some part of that. So maybe not as quite as like the Miami or the Galaxy dynasties, like hitting that high point, but they're just so consistently up there at a high level that I really do feel like it's a league of their own. Like there's just no other franchise that can do or has done what Seattle is currently doing. Outside of the 1 year where they won Champions Cup and then just decided they were not going to play in the regular season.
That was a lot of words to not understand any point you just made. Where, because you
I
start off by saying, I don't know if they're on the same level as LA and DC, and then finish by saying nobody can do what they've done. So
I
are they the
didn't hold
top?
on. I
Where
did not
are
say
they?
I don't know if they're on this. I said they are. I don't believe that they hit the highs that like the LA Galaxy Prime Dynasty could hit, or like the Miami current like Miami Dynasty could hit.
What do you
But
mean
I
by
think
sorry, what do you mean by highs? They won the
like
biggest
at
trophy
their
in the on the Confederation.
I know, and then in that same season they couldn't even make the playoffs.
LA
Like
Galaxy have two wooden spoons.
yeah, not when they were in their prime dynasty. I'm just saying, like, I think if you're talking about like the best, the strongest moments from the LA Galaxy's, like, what is it, late 2000s, early 2010s dynasty, I just feel like they're probably more dominant than like what Seattle's highest level of dominance would be. Like, Seattle is just very successful for a long period of time, but you're not seeing them like, and maybe I'm wrong, but you're not seeing them win like three trophies in a season. Like they'll consistently win trophies, but it's not like they're winning three or like winning two and they're in the semifinals or finals for another. I mean, again, I might be wrong, and Seattle fans, I'm sure, will be happy to correct me, but I can't think of a time where they are like hitting that level. And maybe the Galaxy and Miami haven't necessarily hit that level either. But Miami is like setting a points record, winning Leagues Cup. I feel like when they're playing at their best and they're healthy, I do feel like they are probably the best team in the league right now. But
This this is you. I'm gonna use a term that kids know. This is you aura farming the LA Galaxy because they had big names. And I know I definitely use that right. So in the comments, do not flame me. I know I use that right. Because they had big flashy names and the Seattle Sounders didn't. Right? Seattle Sounders not only won the Champions League, they did the double of US Open Cup Supporter Shield in 2013, 2014. 2 years later, they won MLS Cup and then went on a run where they were one of one, two. They went back to back MLS Cup finals, skipped a year, and then went to two more back to back MLS Cup finals. So no, they only won one of them, and I agree. If they had won all of them, it's a different story. But to be like, oh yeah, they never got to this point or that point, I think is disingenuous, and I don't love it, right? And Sorry, what I mean by that is they won two out of those four. Sorry, my apology. I forgot they won one in penalties. So they won two out of the four in a 5 year span, which is mental. Now, excuse me, that LA Galaxy, they did the same thing, right? They went 3 out of 4 years and they won all three of them. So I can understand where you say, yes, this is why I see LA a little bit ahead of them in that sense. But no, I don't think we could sit there and say that Seattle isn't on that level. I would put Seattle on that level. Maybe not the best of the best, but I'd put them on that level.
I didn't say Seattle's dynasty or like franchises on that level. All I said was that the peaks of the Galaxy dynasty are higher than the peaks of the Seattle dynasty, which is exactly what you basically proved to me when,
No, I disagree with that. I'd take Champions Cup over in that dynasty over anything the Galaxy did.
you would take the Champions Cup over anything the Galaxy did.
Yes.
The Galaxy they went second in the Supporter Shield in '09 and made it to the finals. Then the next year
Okay,
they
so
win the
so hold on.
Supporter
Let
Shield.
me just recap. They didn't win Supporter Shield and they didn't win MLS Cup. Okay, continue.
Okay. Then the next year they win Supporter Shield. The year after that it's Supporter Shield and Cup, and then the year after that it's Cup.
Okay, cool. What else?
They went 3 straight years where they were top two in the Supporter Shield. I don't believe Seattle's hit that ever.
I'll take a Champions Cup over that any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Okay.
And I don't think that is absurd. I don't think that's audacious. I think that's really easy to say.
Well, then I guess you could point to the early LA Galaxy dynasty too, then, because they also got a Champions Cup. I think what 2000? I don't remember the exact year.
Yeah, but they
Uh,
also lost. It was 2000. They also
yes.
lost.
And then next year, U.S. Open Cup, they won. Finals of MLS Cup. The year after that, it's Supporter Shield and Cup double. So
Listen,
so so then you have the prestigious trophy that you're claiming. Plus, then the next year they win another trophy and make the finals of MLS Cup. And then the year after that, they do the double. A better double than the Seattle double, which we both agree
wow.
on.
That the U.S. Open Cup disrespect is not welcome on this podcast. So
Stop
watch
it.
yourself.
Stop
Watch
it.
yourself.
Stop it.
I would put them 1-2, and it wouldn't be too far. I could make a case for, but I could make a case for if I was gonna order it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because when LA Galaxy were making those runs to MLS Cup final, there were 10 teams. So for
That's fair.
me, I'm going Seattle, LA Galaxy 2.0, and then LA Galaxy 1.0. That would be my order. And I'm not saying that there's miles between them. I'm just saying because of the way that Seattle has run it, because they've done it without the big stars. They've done it without the big multi-billion dollar signings of whatever, right? LA Galaxy needed to literally rewrite rules for themselves to do it in the second iteration. And in the first iteration, they did it with 10 teams. I'm not saying it's like miles less impressive. I'm saying it's just not as impressive as what Seattle has done with a bunch of kids, basically.
I mean, I wouldn't say that like their trophies was a bunch of kids. I mean, it's not like they had no notable players on their team. I mean, they brought in Obafemi Martins. He was notable at the time.
Sure, sure, and
Clint
they
Dempsey,
had Deuce too.
notable.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah.
Chad Marshall for sure.
Yeah. They spent money, a good amount of money to bring in Nico Ladero. Like
Yeah, but
they
they're
spent
not
money.
breaking the bank. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I don't think it's to the level that the Galaxy were doing it. Like you said,
Let's talk. Let me just run you through what their starting 11 was against Miami, who had all of Messi and friends. Right in goal, Andrew Thomas, Reed Baker Whiting at left back, Jackson Reagan at center back, Obed Vargas in the midfield, Christian Roldan in the midfield, Paulie Rothrock, Jesus Ferreira, and De Rosario's son leading the line. That's of their or of their 11 players, 7 or 8 of them are either homegrown or young, or MLS vets or young guys. Like it's impressive. It's more impressive to me what they've done than LA Galaxy breaking, making the rules same way Miami did, making the rules so they could sign David Beckham and David Beckham's friends to go and make a dynasty like that. I think it's more impressive the way Seattle's done it.
I mean, I listen, I do think the game is impressive and then the result is impressive. I do not think the one Leagues Cup win right now is a higher peak. I don't really care how much the Galaxy spent and how much they bent the rules. I don't think it's a higher peak than the Galaxy from 2010 to 2012, where they had back-to-back supporter shields and back-to-back MLS Cups.
Okay, well here and here's the point, right? You were saying back-to-back MLS Cups or whatever. You did 2010 to 2012. That's 3 years. Seattle's been dominant for like at least six.
Yeah, we are not. You are not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not
Listen,
saying
I'm
that
hearing,
this.
here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing US Open disrespect. I'm hearing Leagues Cup disrespect. I don't know which side of the Twitter sphere you fall on. Do you hate Open Cup? Do you hate Leagues Cup? Oh wait, no, you probably just hate soccer. That's what it is. You want to go talk about tennis
You
all
got
day.
me. I
I
do want
said
to talk
you
about tennis.
I
This
said
is a
US
tennis
Open, you're
podcast
like,
now.
boom.
Yeah, my mind went out the window as soon as you said U.S. Open. All I was thinking about was tennis.